I just sit down to check if anybody's tuned in yet, and I see Joreuz's message there. You need to be quiet. You need to be silent, mate. It's a best of 5 between Joreuz and Chronic. Now, I was explaining before why Joreuz couldn't play in the Salt Mine EU is because he was playing on, I think, one of his friend's accounts because he didn't want his main account's rank to change. So he wanted to play ranked, but he didn't want his rank on his main account to change because he was the same rank as a friend of his that he was queuing with a lot, and they were trying to push high ranks. So he played on his friend's account, which he shouldn't do, by the way, because that is account sharing, and that is definitely bannable. But he got a pretty fair ban, just 1 month, and now he's fully reformed, not going to do that again. Wait, is it US East? No, it's EU. Did I say JSIE? I did I? Very nice shot there. Why is he... I don't know what Chronic's talking about. I was confused for a second there, but hey, he's off to a good start. Nice height on the finish. Of course, top shelf was open. Now, those of you who have seen Joreuz play on stream before will know that he has a very adaptable game plan. I would say more adaptable than Chronic's. He's sort of just got a style that he wants to try and force, but we'll see if that works out for him. Will Joreuz be able to figure out the answer and how to catch him? Oh, it's JSIE, the tag, Jesse Esports. That's actually amazing. Jesse Esports. That's Joreuz clan tag. Incredible. By the way, thank you to Freddy B275 for the brand new Prime sub. Mitra RL for the 11 month. That's a little wave dash kickoff there from Joreuz. Check that out. We got Cheesy Alfredo Tornado. Actually, 245 bits, no face cam today. No, not been using it for a while, but yeah, we're going to switch back to using it pretty soon. Rent Zias. Thanks for the tenor. Apparently quarantine is the only way to catch stream after years. Keep up the great content. Apparently quarantine is the only way I can catch stream. Wait, you've been quarantined? Really? Please tell us more. That's interesting. Where are you? What happened? Is it coronavirus related? But hey, welcome to the stream either way. Hopefully that situation is not too awkward for you. Thank you, by the way, to Sinsaveza for the 19-month Prime, Robert Duckyman for the 21-month Prime, and B Poon 18 for the 1 month Tier 1. Welcome everybody to the stream. That's everybody, I believe. So we're going to leave alerts for now. Scam train popping off, indeed. So Joreuz has tied the game up here. This is a Europe server game. The next game in this series will be as well. Chronic has won the coin toss, and he chose to start on Europe. And then the last 3 games of the series will be on his server in US East. This has been a really interesting way of doing EU versus NA matches in the past. Some series, every match goes to the home server. Some series, there's several breaks of server, I feel like I should say. But yeah, Joreuz, he is, I think, coming into this one as the slight favourite, just because, in my opinion, he has the more adaptable game plan. Chronic has a very effective style against a lot of people who struggle to figure out a way to beat it. But I think Joreuz should be able to come up with something. That's a nice demo by Chronic. Unfortunately, the ball has gone flying into his half of the field. Nice demo for Chronic, I should say. Don't think he knew much about it. Definitely knew a lot about that air roll shot, though. And Joreuz is backed up into a corner. Chronic keeping the ball high above the goal. But Joreuz is sitting very far inside the goal here. Oh, he misreads it, though. That's surprising. And it gives Chronic the equalizer. I really thought that Joreuz had this one under control because he was way back in his goal. You could see exactly where the ball was. It may have been, in part, to the fact that Chronic jumped quite early for that one. And Joreuz probably heard him. And that may have caused him to panic. Great power on that shot from Chronic. Really well done. Lots of players would have backed off and left the ball for free for Joreuz, but Chronic knows better than to do that. That's almost a good save, but the ball does go in. And this is the difficulty facing a player like Joreuz. He rarely overextends. You know, Chronic doesn't really overextend much either. Neither of these guys do. But I think in offense, Joreuz has so many tricks up his sleeve. Chronic is going to have such a hard time dealing with him.
Promote players like this. Him not being coy when I say he's a gem. In fact, I wouldn't dare to with it.
Yeah, thank you, Hugh, for the kind words and the 4-month prime. Welcome back. I'm not going to finish off that name. See what you're trying to do there. Red Zayas, thanks for the Twitch Prime sub, and Jay Spock with the Prime. Welcome. Really appreciate it, guys. The aerial battle goes wide of the net, but Chronic's come out with a little advantage here. He's turning it into a decent one. That's almost another equalizer for Chronic. He really had Joreuz in a knot there defensively, but by missing, he does what I said these two are quite good at not doing. He overextends, lands completely inside the goal. That's where he wanted the ball, of course, but he decided to go there himself. Hey Lord, how's it going, man? Yeah, what do you guys have for this one? Remember that there will be 3 USE servers at the end of the match, at the end of the series. Nice mind game by Joreuz. Did he actually get the reset here, though? I was sent a really funny clip by JBot recently of, you know, JBot's match against Com, where Com did this to JBot. He tried to go for a flip reset and then ended up faking JBot off the ball. JBot pre-jumped the flick, or where he thought the flick was going to be. But what in fact happened is that Com just missed getting the reset, so he couldn't dodge into the ball. He just fell down and then accidentally faked JBot. So I wonder if that is what in fact happens in this position as well. Chronic with some nice ball control. Didn't have a lot of boost to play with here. He didn't need it at the end of the day. Very well played. Now, there's been a lot of discussion recently, and I'm going to bring this up just because we did see a goal there happening because of it. There's been a lot of discussion about demos and their place in Rocket League. Some people have been saying that demos should be removed from the game. Other people have been saying that they're broken and they're bugged. Oh, that's a nice touch by Joreuz. Really good recovery here after I think his flick went wrong. Chronic almost definitely made contact with this on his screen. You can forgive him for saying holy lag here. Yeah. But that was a really awkward touch by Joreuz. Hard to read. But yeah, everybody is suggesting that demos be removed from the game probably hasn't thought about what would happen in that world. Like, they're just going to get bumped, I think, more. Like, demos actually limit the amount that you're bumped. They're going to get bumped so much. I think they're going to hate it even more, firstly. Secondly, yes, I think some demos look a bit weird. Sometimes somebody lands on you and it doesn't look like they're going supersonic, but they still kill you. That definitely is strange, and I would like to see that be more consistent. But I don't think that is a cause for demos being removed. Thirdly, sometimes you think you have demo somebody on your screen and it looks like a demo, but nothing happens. That I would love to be fixed as well, just like what I said moments ago. But the most important, and I think the most interesting point that some people raised, is that they think that demos should cause a shorter time away from the game, which I completely disagree with. If anything, I think that demos should be more of a punish. Like, if you get demoed, I would be okay with people being out of the game for much longer than they are. I think it's an extremely short time to be out of the game, and I know why. Psionics have gone for the really short time. Is because they know people are frustrated when they're not able to play and they're just chilling, completely dead. Nice, very nice shot here by Chronic, in fact, to finish off the game. Great placement. Look at this bump at the end. Can't have seen that coming. Very well played. It's a little too late though. First game goes to Joreuz. But yeah, what do you guys think about the whole demo discussion? Personally, I think that demos are fine as a concept. I like them. I think that they add a lot of strategy to the game, and I think that they're a lot harder to be good at than people give credit for. Like, if somebody's really good at flicking, people are like, wow, yeah, what a great player. He's insane. He's the best flicker in the world. Somebody's really good at demos, everybody's like, oh, pathetic. What an idiot. What's he doing? Why would he practice that so much? Like, why do these two things get different levels of respect? They should both command the same respect. People need to grow up. But yeah, the whole timer thing, I think it would be really interesting to see more time out the game. Demos are great, super effective. Personally, I love demos because when you demo people and bump them a lot in ranked, so they get really salty and their reactions are really funny. They type embarrassing things in chat, and that gives me enjoyment. And hey, don't judge me. You're all the same. I know that you've demoed somebody with that one time that you got a really funny demo and the other guy was raging and you told your mum. So don't judge me. It's fun, alright? Chronic obviously trolling. No, he's just a very talkative player in text chat. He's always been that way. Should be equalizing here. Oh, no, Joreuz has something to say about it. Nice recovery by Chronic though. Wasn't too confident about the inside of the post read, but he did get it. And now we see a similar scoreline to what we saw for most of the last game. All tied up. Thanks to the official Habibi for the brand new Prime sub and Fox Knives for the Year of Prime. Welcome and welcome back, respectively. Really appreciate it, guys. Joreuz barely had enough speed to get the kill there. Very topical, of course. So I don't know how much of Joreuz play Chronic has seen, but if he has watched a lot of his games, he'll know that his vanilla air dribbles are quite common for Joreuz. In a world where air dribble bumps and air dribble dunks are, I think, more common in the 1v1 meta. Chronic going to show us one here, and it is effective, actually. So he had one at the end of last game, one right now. We might be seeing Chronic all in on a particular move here, until at least Joreuz starts to defend them more effectively. Demos are amazing unless they happen to me. I respect a good demo. You know, somebody demos me, I don't mind. Well played. When people get really mad that they're being demoed over and over again, I don't know. Well, I don't know how that's possible. Like, do they not just realize it's their fault for being easy to demo? Should be getting mad at themselves for being such a sitting duck. After hearing information about the Olympics, do you think SRG has a chance to win? Of course, they definitely have a chance. It's going to be very interesting seeing SRG if they do qualify for the Olympics. It'll be very interesting to see them on similar ping for the first time. That was a phenomenal save by Joreuz. They delayed his dodge long enough until after Chronic hit him. Now, if Chronic is paying attention to that, he's most likely going to try and go for a faster air dribble into bump next time. Because of course it doesn't matter if the other player saves their dodge. If you're going quick enough to just slam them from, like, clean out the air, then you're probably going to get the goal anyway. Chronic having a lot of success in game number 2, lots of possession. Joreuz still staying relevant though, staying in this one, but he's given away the ball. That's going to be 4-1. And if Chronic can get a good kickoff here, we might see a lot of time wasted off the clock. It's a comfortable lead for him. Would I enjoy seeing 2v2 and 1v1 make their way into RLCS? You know they won't, but you think it would be awesome? I think it's not just interesting to think about what 1v1 and 2v2 would look like in the context of RLCS or a big LAN. I think it's necessary. I really do think if Rocket League is going to grow into the esport that we all want it to be, I think that there needs to be a multi-discipline event. Not just a 3v3 event. I think that running them all of the game modes side by side is exactly how Rocket League should be done in the context of RLCS, which is the World Championship. You know, running into like little 3v3 LANs and 2v2 LANs and 1v1 LANs, like just independently, that's totally fine. But I think it would be a whole other level of entertainment if you had, you know, a 2-week-long tournament for RLCS, and there's 1v1, 2v2, and 3v3 World Championships all taking place. You could have some players competing in multi-disciplines. I think it would be incredible. Like, it would be so interesting, and there would be so many storylines. Like, it would just be way more interesting. Now, it's probably not an idea that's going to get a lot of love from the hardcore Rocket League fan base, because most of the hardcore Rocket League fans are 3v3 fans, because 3v3 is the main game mode, and most of the big content creators and big streamers are 3v3 players, so they're probably going to talk down on 1v1 and 2v2 just to make themselves look better. It's a natural thing to do. It's human nature to, you know, big up yourself, and it's also a defense mechanism. They're trying to defend their prize money and their worth because... Oh wow, a shot by Chronic. Oh, take a look at this. Like I was saying, 3v3 players probably want all the amount of prize money in 3v3. Look at the timing on that. 109 kilometers an hour. That was on the bounce after it had hit the ground. He didn't pinch that one completely. He waited until after it bounced up again. And then absolutely launched himself into it. It's a great way to respond to losing your lead moments beforehand. Big moosey farts. Thanks for the 2-month tier 1. Really appreciate it, man. How did the speed run go last night? Not well. Now Joreuz has to break out of this deadlock. He wants to win the game. Breaking one of the core rules of Rocket League there. Should RLCS franchise or switch format? I don't really care too much about franchising. Looking at how well franchising is done in other esports, you know, I don't think it's that big of a deal. Yeah, I don't really mind. Like franchising, I don't think it adds as much to storyline as people think it will. I don't think it would draw in too many more fans. So I don't really care. Like if Rocket League franchises, it's fine. If it doesn't, it's fine. I don't think it's a big deal. What can we expect? When can we expect the Threes Teams of Clones tier list? I think Khaled would be a little bit OP. Well, I don't think Khaled has enough experience. Khaled and all the Middle East guys, they don't have enough LAN experience, and you know, there's 3v3 experience competitively to be considered top tier in that. But definitely worth mentioning for sure. J-Wells, I just noticed you said everything in games that are annoying takes you out the game will probably make people toxic examples, claymores and shooting games. Yeah, I understand why people don't like demos. But if you look at it objectively, they do add another element to the game, and they create goals. Goals are fun. Nobody wants to see a scoreless draw. You just don't. Like, yes, there can be good scoreless draws that are good games and they're tense, but why? It's because goals are nearly happening. You never have a good scoreless draw where goals are not even coming close to happening. And if you take demos out of the game, there will be less goals, so there will be less opportunities. It'll just be a more boring game. Chronic locking in the win here, surely. Oh, hold on. Might not be over just yet. Joreuz has a semi-open net on 0 seconds, and he puts it in. Chronic thought, surely, if I just air dribble at him high, there's no way that the ball stays in the air. But that is actually what has happened. Why did I do that, says Chronic. Well, yeah, of course, it doesn't look like the best idea in hindsight when you just got full pitch dribbled on 0. Is it going to look even stupider after he loses OT? I don't think so. I think he's got the dub here. Chronic, angle shot into the bar. And to make matters worse, Joreuz has landed well. And he's thinking about going for this one off the wall. This is just a controlling takeoff, but that's not. Joreuz bursts into speed and smashes Chronic out of the way. It's one of those moments where he must have just got supersonic at the last second, because he was not going supersonic. There were no trails. Then all of a sudden, Chronic is gone, and Joreuz wins the game. That is unbelievable. I was just, you know, chilling out, having a little discussion with you guys, thinking we're going to be going into game number 3 with the series tied up, and then next thing I know, Joreuz is equalized, and we are facing a situation where Chronic needs to win 3 games in a row on his home server. It's possible. I mean, Joreuz just won twice in a row on his home server. That second game, though, should have been Chronic's. He will be kicking himself. He'll know more than anybody that he should have won that one. If he had just played a safer strategy at the end, probably would have had it. What are these guys talking about in party chat? Went into Forky mode, or he always does that. Went into Forky mode. Yeah, I could see Forky doing that, to be fair. It's not false. But this is Chronic's chance now. He won the coin toss. This is the order of servers that he wanted. Let's see if it's going to pay off for him. What do I think about the UK bubble scene? Well, it's a bit of a vague question. I think, you know, there's a lot of good bubble players in the UK who have lots of potential. But yeah, I don't know exactly what you want me to talk about. If you write a more specific question, I'll give you a more specific answer. Do you have any particular favorite players to watch, or ones more than others? Well, of course, I like watching the best players play. So right now, Khalid is probably the player that I want to see the most, just because he's on a crazy streak and I want to see if it's going to continue, you know? But for entertainment value, you've got to love players who are just willing to take risks and make big plays happen. So anyone who falls into that category is going to be fun to watch. Huge power shot from Joreuz. Look at the double touch clear though from Chronic. He's got that one all the way back into the corner with a second hit on the ball. Beautiful defense. But Joreuz looks quite comfortable here. Even the away server. Oh, I say that, but Chronic just stuck this one on a postage stamp. What a shot into the top corner. That's absolutely perfect by him. The reason that Joreuz is saying questioning the ball here is probably because, or questioning what just happened, is probably because he hit the ball on his screen. But you know that happens if you got 112 ping. This season actually, I've been playing a bit of US East server and it's not been too bad actually. It's been pretty good. Sometimes I forget that I have US East server turned on, but it varies. It depends, you know, server to server. You're gonna get good ones and bad ones. Joreuz just needs to remind himself that he only needs the one win here out of 3 games. So he can try multiple different play styles, he can try lots of different strategies defensively and offensively, and see what works and what doesn't. This is what I think he's one of the best at right now. Adapting, figuring out what his opponent isn't comfortable with, and then doing it. Chronic, very elaborate reset, but the ball's gone wide. Joreuz trying to work around it into an open net. He's put it wide though. Didn't have the easiest shot because Chronic was right behind him, nipping at his heels. Joreuz still in a pretty advantageous position here. Has to back off because Chronic's keeping up the pressure. Yeah, I think Chronic's getting better at this more recently. He didn't used to do this very often, staying active with low boosts and throwing in early challenges, but credit to him, he's evolving his defensive strategy. He doesn't just sit in goal and make incredible saves all game, which, you know, is great to watch, but these days I think a bit too dangerous to just do in a game start to finish. Did you say there are 4 unwritten rules in Rocket League? I don't think I said 4. I only know of the 2. You know, keeping the ball up in 0 seconds, and if you're in a deadlock with another player, you're not allowed to break it. They're the 2, right? I remember back in the day when Cuck streamed, he had a bunch of rules in his chat. Like, he had commands for them all. One of them was no open nets, so he used to dribble the ball away from open nets and try and score a cool goal instead. Can we see 2v2? Not today, this will be the only series I cast today. It's a brilliant reaction by Joreuz. I think he reacted, in fact, just before he even saw Chronic coming. And again, look at this, he's just reading Chronic's mind. As soon as Chronic's turning to make the play on the ball, Joreuz is already popping it. Twice in a row there. Got the ball past Chronic, and now he's just half-flipped on the diagonal. What is this from Joreuz? It's totally caught Chronic off guard. He ended up in a position he wasn't familiar with. Is that really going to get a goal for Joreuz? It is! And you know, this is interesting, because we've not seen that in a while. Half-flip onto the boost in 1v1. In the diagonal spawn. Now, I think if you do that over and over again, you're going to get punished. Everybody at the top of the game right now knows how to score a good dribbling play from there. But Chronic was so caught off guard by it, he didn't get the best first touch in the world. And now he's lost his lead. It's 2-2. Joreuz on the hunt for the long-range air dribble. Chronic's not had too many problems getting up quickly to challenge him when he does that. Straight down the middle goes Joreuz. He will pop the ball early if he has any idea that Chronic's going to be coming for him in that position. Big flick by Chronic. In fact, a goal that puts him in front by 1. Joreuz was respecting this one a fair bit. He's accelerating to back off long before the flick happens. Like Chronic says, the Dominus flick. It's just a beast. So much power. And he's back in front. Has Joreuz just missed the open net? Yes, he has. He's going to stay on the ball here. He doesn't want to give Chronic the boost for free, but hey, Chronic just went for it and gives Joreuz the goal. This is smart though by Joreuz. What turning like this does, instead of going all the way to the mid boost, by turning early, he forces Chronic to either concede a goal or concede the 100 boost, and Chronic chose to concede a goal, which is of course the best case scenario for Joreuz, but I'm pretty sure he would be okay with Chronic just conceding the 100 boost as well, having to defend a difficult shot without much in the tank. Joreuz just a 1 goal away from winning this series. He's trying to get an efficient route to the ball here, but he doesn't come up with one, and Chronic double touches him out of the sky. That's a reset above crossbar height, and he puts it in top shelf. Joreuz driving over the post 3 times in a row. He really didn't have any plan there other than wait until Chronic's finished air dribbling and then I'm going to come in for the ball. Oh, that's really poor by Joreuz. No power on the shot, and then he flips past the ball. Chronic ahead by 2. You know, it's a deserved lead because that goal that he just scored before this, definitely worth 2 or 3 in some people's eyes. Weenie Genie, thanks for the 2-month prime, really appreciate it. Polywolf, thanks for the 4-month prime. Also Jimbo Beergins, thanks for the 4-month prime as well. Hopefully you guys are having a good night. Chronic is trying to right a wrong here. He lost a game just moments ago that he'll feel like he should have won, but this one is even more in his favour. The clock and the boost and the ball are all helping him now. That's going to be game unless something completely extraordinary happens. Joreuz not enough time to even get the ball from one end of the field to the other as Chronic gets his first win on the board. Flipperty resets. I don't say flipperty reset. Never said flipperty reset. It's flipperty. I think people say that I pronounce it as flipperty set. I don't know, I say flip reset. It's not flipperty. Flip-re, not flipperty. They're totally different sounds. What are you guys on about? It's a pretty funny one though, I will admit. That's a good meme. Flipperty set. Flippery is a very good word. Something's flippery. Anybody watch Robot Wars? I imagine that there were lots of flippery robots there. Oh, well done, Chronic. He's got the bottom corner here. And he's sending an early message to Joreuz in game number 4. He's telling him, you're not the only one with a difficult to read offense. Another flippery set. I'll do it. I'll say it for you guys one time. There you go. I wouldn't be surprised to see Joreuz going for some of his own to try and counter this. We have seen Joreuz respond to air dribble bump plays from Chronic with air dribble bumps of his own. And he's just got flip reset on a couple times in a row. Is he going to try and make one happen in a counter? Yes, he is, but it hasn't worked out. That's one of the worst ones I've seen from Joreuz in any of the games he's played on stream. But it's really interesting. Joreuz kind of does this. When he gets scored on a particular way, he tries to replicate, maybe just to win the mental battle, saying whatever you could do, I could do better. Well, that wasn't the case in that instance. Chronic is going to adapt here again, and he's not far off the double touch from way above the goal. Really good adaptation though by Chronic. He's shown so many slow plays in the air, and he knows that. So as soon as he sees Joreuz flying in for the challenge, he just goes quicker. He puts the ball over him, and we've seen him do those before. Difficult, but still very possible for a player like Chronic to score. Joreuz eager to stay on the ball here. He wants to keep Chronic's boost total as low as possible. He's done quite well, in fact, making minor progress. Perfect timing on the boost steal by Joreuz. Just snatches it right in front of Chronic, and there's been a definite change of pace from Joreuz. Perhaps he's realized that Chronic is becoming quite dangerous in this slow game, and he's going to try a different strategy in game 4, catch him off guard perhaps. I think it has to be that, because Chronic is a very speedy player. So you're not going to smash him in a series playing quickly every single game. This is just an adaptation that Joreuz is trying. See how Chronic is going to respond. You know, even this game, I don't think he can do it for the whole game. Chronic is going to see it coming eventually, sooner rather than later, I would say. Still, Chronic in the lead. He's suppose the advantage of playing the servers in the order that he's chosen to is if he does get the 2 home wins, he's got 2 games in a row right before the last game of the series. That's huge momentum in his favour. Great recoveries by Chronic. Tries for the tight angle volley. Joreuz was there, covering the majority of the goal. His catch sends the ball too far away from himself for it to be a scoreable opportunity. The ball's just on a full lap and nobody's got a shot, or at least a dangerous shot, out of it. Joreuz, early challenge on Chronic's off the wall. There's going to be another one from a very similar position. This one didn't sit up quite as high as the previous one. Good speed in the recovery by Chronic. He does prevent Joreuz from scoring into the open net for now. Well, but he won't prevent him this time. Joreuz finds a way through. Unlike earlier in the game, Chronic doesn't do too much. He's too eager for that 100 boost in the corner. Completely sacrifices his positioning in order to sit on that pad for longer than he should. He really can't afford to make these kind of mistakes. It's not the first time he's done it. But he's going to win this series. Better be the last time that he's done it. 2 minutes left. 2 each on the scoreboard. Joreuz. As Chronic staying very close to him here, but look at that. He just drives ahead of the ball and blindly demos Chronic. He just knew where he was. He's thinking, well, if I can't see him, he must be right behind the ball, because I can see to the left, I can see to the right, and he certainly hasn't jumped. That's a very interesting shot for Joreuz to attempt. I wasn't expecting him to attack so directly at Chronic today. And he's actually had quite a lot of success doing so. Joreuz, completely boost starved, has ball control. He wants a 50-50 here. Chronic knows that, so he's going to make sure that he wins the 50-50 if he has to take one. He's got a lot of space to the right here, but he goes straight down the middle again. Chronic has to put the ball high over the challenge, and although he avoids getting intercepted, hasn't put the ball on target, and he's not in position for a rebound either, so not the win that Chronic was looking for there. Look at Joreuz. Has he really just done this? What an approach that would have been. Still on it. He's still in position, and he finds the back of the net for the 4-2 lead. That's just exquisite control from Joreuz. Such patience. Even when he knows Chronic is right there ready to put a challenge in, stays calm, stays composed, and puts a shot in the back of the net. 1 minute and 4 remaining. Chronic needs a couple goals or he's going to be out of this one. It's been close games though. Chronic very easily could have won game 2. Game 3 as well. Could have gone either way. Game 1 only had a couple of goals in it. We've had mostly home wins, but Joreuz trying to break that streak. He sees Chronic coming forward. Vision has been brilliant for Joreuz for the majority of this series. When he hasn't got perfect vision of Chronic, he's reading him as if he does see where he is. Very, very deep fake challenge there for Joreuz. I don't think he minded too much that Chronic saw him, because he was moving so quickly that he could get back into position without wasting too much time. And he's had most of Chronic's dribbles under control today. There was, of course, that one unbelievable flick that Joreuz couldn't save. I don't think even Chronic is hitting those the majority of the time. And he's just not scored enough opportunities this game to keep himself relevant. He gets one now, though. And we're not done just yet. We had 1-0 second goal in game 2 to ruin Joreuz's fun. Or Chronic's fun, I should say. Chronic needs one if he's going to return the favour, but he's not going to get one. That ball is hitting the ground. And Joreuz takes him out 3-1. He didn't need a game 5 either. Really impressive stuff from Joreuz. I think that what we're talking about at the start of the series is definitely true. He's the more adaptable player. He saw that little change of pace at the start of game 4 that just threw Chronic off briefly, and even though he didn't stick with it all the way through the game, he did manage to take control. So that's something that I think Chronic needs to try and add to his game, just to be more unpredictable, because he's clearly got the mechanical ability. My goodness, some of the goals he's scored in and some of the saves he's making are just incredible. He's got the positioning for sure, but he's got to somehow learn to be less predictable. He's got to learn how to dictate the pace of the series, really control where and how the ball is being played. Alright, good night, Joreuz. Thanks again for playing. It was a really fun series. Hopefully you didn't wake your parents up. not flippery. They're totally different sounds. What are you guys on about? It's a pretty funny one, though. I will admit that's a good meme. Flippery set. Flippery is a very good word. Something's flippery. Anybody watch Robot Wars? I imagine that there were lots of flippery robots there. Oh, well done, Chronic. He's got the bottom corner here. And he's sending an early message to Joreuz in game number 4. He's telling him, you're not the only one with a difficult to read offense. Another flippery set. I'll do it. I'll say it for you guys one time. There you go. I wouldn't be surprised to see Joreuz going for some of his own to try and counter this. We have seen Joreuz respond to air dribble bump plays from Chronic with air dribble bumps of his own. And he's just got flip reset on a couple times in a row. Is he going to try and make one happen in a counter? Yes, he is, but it hasn't worked out. That's one of the worst ones I've seen from Joreuz in any of the games he's played on stream. But it's really interesting. Joreuz kind of does this. When he gets scored on in a particular way, he tries to replicate, maybe just to win the mental battle, saying whatever you could do, I could do better. Well, that wasn't the case in that instance. Chronic is going to adapt here again, and he's not far off the double touch from way above the goal. Really good adaptation though by Chronic. He's shown so many slow plays in the air, and he knows that. So as soon as he sees Joreuz flying in for the challenge, he just goes quicker. He puts the ball over him, and we've seen him do those before. Difficult, but still very possible for a player like Chronic to score. Joreuz eager to stay on the ball here. He wants to keep Chronic's boost total as low as possible. He's done quite well, in fact, making minor progress. Perfect timing on the boost steal by Joreuz. Just snatches it right in front of Chronic, and there's been a definite change of pace from Joreuz. Perhaps he's realized that Chronic is becoming quite dangerous in the slow game, and he's going to try a different strategy in game 4, catch him off guard perhaps. I think it has to be that, because Chronic is a very speedy player. So you're not going to smash him in a series playing quickly every single game. This is just an adaptation that Joreuz is trying. See how Chronic is going to respond. You know, even this game, I don't think he can do it for the whole game. Chronic is going to see it coming eventually. Sooner rather than later, I would say. Still, Chronic in the lead. I suppose the advantage of playing the servers in the order that he's chosen to is if he does get the 2 home wins, he's got 2 games in a row right before the last game of the series. That's huge momentum in his favour. Great recoveries by Chronic. Tries for the tight angle volley. Joreuz was there, covering the majority of the goal. His catch sends the ball too far away from himself for it to be a scoreable opportunity. The ball's just on a full lap and nobody's got a shot, or at least a dangerous shot, out of it. Joreuz, early challenge on Chronic's off the wall. There's going to be another one from a very similar position. This one didn't sit up quite as high as the previous one. Good speed in the recovery by Chronic. He does prevent Joreuz from scoring into the open net for now. Well, but he won't prevent him this time. Joreuz finds a way through. And like earlier in the game, Chronic doesn't do too much. He's too eager for that 100 boost in the corner. Completely sacrifices his positioning in order to sit on that pad for longer than he should. And he really can't afford to make these kind of mistakes. It's not the first time he's done it. But he's going to win this series. Better be the last time that he's done it. 2 minutes left. 2 each on the scoreboard. Joreuz. As Chronic staying very close to him here, but look at that. He just drives ahead of the ball and blindly demos Chronic. He just knew where he was. He's thinking, well, if I can't see him, he must be right behind the ball, because I can see to the left, I can see to the right, and he certainly hasn't jumped. That's a very interesting shot for Joreuz to attempt. I wasn't expecting him to attack so directly at Chronic today. And he's actually had quite a lot of success doing so. Joreuz completely boost starved. Has ball control. He wants a 50-50 here. Chronic knows that, so he's going to make sure that he wins the 50-50 if he has to take one. He's got a lot of space to the right here, but he goes straight down the middle again. Chronic has to put the ball high over the challenge, and although he avoids getting intercepted, hasn't put the ball on target, and he's not in position for a rebound either, so not the win that Chronic was looking for there. Look at Joreuz. Has he really just done this? What an approach that would have been. Still on it. He's still in position, and he finds the back of the net for the 4-2 lead. That's just exquisite control from Joreuz. Such patience. Even when he knows Chronic is right there ready to put a challenge in, stays calm, stays composed, and puts a shot in the back of the net. 1:04 remaining. Chronic needs a couple goals or he's going to be out of this one. It's been close games though. Chronic very easily could have won game 2. Game 3 as well. Could have gone either way. Game 1 only had a couple of goals in it. We've had mostly home wins, but Joreuz trying to break that streak. He sees Chronic coming forward. Vision has been brilliant for Joreuz for the majority of this series. When he hasn't got perfect vision of Chronic, he's reading him as if he does see where he is. Very, very deep fake challenge there for Joreuz. I don't think he minded too much that Chronic saw him, because he was moving so quickly that he could get back into position without wasting too much time. And he's had most of Chronic's dribbles under control today. There was, of course, that one unbelievable flick that Joreuz couldn't save. I don't think even Chronic is hitting those the majority of the time. And he's just not scored enough opportunities this game to keep himself relevant. He gets one now, though. And we're not done just yet. We had 1-0 second goal in game 2 to ruin Joreuz's fun. Or Chronic's fun, I should say. Chronic needs one if he's going to return the favour, but he's not going to get one. That ball is hitting the ground. And Joreuz takes him out 3-1. He didn't need a game 5 either. Really impressive stuff from Joreuz. I think that what we're talking about at the start of the series is definitely true. He's the more adaptable player. You saw that little change of pace at the start of game 4 that just threw Chronic off briefly, and even though he didn't stick with it all the way through the game, he did manage to take control